Okay, in this video we're going to do the gasket. I'm in the sheet layout right now. Ultimately we will put it in the sheet layout. As with a lot of things that I draw, I start out with a rectangle. If you look at the drawing, I see a rectangle, and you have to follow this one. I see a rectangle that's 7 inches in X, comma 4.5, 4.5 in Y. What this does is this gives me a reference point for this bottom corner, and it gives me a reference point for this upper left corner. Okay, so this is how I get started. Now, one thing you'll notice on this drawing, we are missing a dimension in my eyes where the center point of this circle that's over here. So what we're going to do is assume that it's lined up to the top of this 4.5, but it's an extra ½ inch, 0.5, beyond that. So the distance we get is 7.5 inches from this side. I'm just going to draw a line that's a ½ inch beyond that, and that's where I'll put my circle center point. So the circle center point will be right here, and the radius is 1.5. Okay? Now keep in mind what we're constructing here is going to be just the outline of this gasket first. Now I have this point here, we're good over there. We need to notch this out over here. So I'm going to go to line, and what I'll do here is I'm just going to draw a line, making sure ortho is turned on. I'm going to draw a line over top of a line. I'm going to go over to the right 1 inch, and I need to know right away that I'm going to move this line off of there. I'm going to move it down a distance of 2 inches per the drawing. So I'll come in here with a line, snap to that end point, and come down. If you don't have your perpendicular objects snap set, you can come over here and just click on that, perpendicular, and escape out or right click and hit enter. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to draw a line and snap it down here, and what I want it to be is I want it to be tangent here. Now I do have my object snap showing up as tangent right here, but don't forget you could come over here, snap to tangent, and get that tangent in place. Alright, so I'm ready to trim. I'll go to trim, I'll select everything and clean this up. Trim all this out of here, and we're good there. After it's all trimmed up, we're going to want to put fillets in. This is a new tool that I'd like to introduce. It's up under the Modify tool panel. So we go to Fillet, and what this will do, if you pause on here, it says it rounds and fillets the edges of objects. So we have these inside corner and outside corner that we want to put a radius on. So going down, you have to look at the command line. Go to radius, we got to set the radius. So this first one here, the radius is 0.25. Set the radius and click. You have to click on the 2 lines on this inside corner. So we're going to go to fillet again. Go to radius because we need to change the radius at this bottom corner to 0.75. Hit enter. Click this line here, click that line, and you'll have 2 different radiuses put on here. So this area up here needs to be rounded off and filleted, but I'm actually going to use the circle tangent radius method here. So I'm going to go tangent, specify the radius of that circle is 1 inch, and you'll see it puts that circle in there perfectly tangent with a 1 inch radius. So then I'll go ahead and trim all of this up. So you'll notice when I do it this way, I have an extra step to trim versus whenever I fillet this, you don't have to have that extra step. Alright, now we have the outline completed for the gasket here, but I need to show you another thing. If you notice that each entity that we have here is separate. So if I click on it, it's all separated. There's all individual entities. Well, in order to do the next step, you're going to need to join all of these entities together. And what I do is I'll just window the whole thing, and we're going to type join on the keyboard. J-O-I-N. Type join and hit enter. And you should see this down on the command line. It says 8 segments joined into 1 polyline. So now I come over and click on one spot, you'll see that it's all selected and highlighted and all joined together. So after that, what we're able to do is we're able to take an offset. We go to the offset tool, and you'll notice in this area right here on the drawing, you have a dimension on there. It says 0.5, and then it says TYP. TYP means typical. What that means is it's ½ inch all around here. You don't have to repeat that dimension. All right, so the offset distance is 0.5, ½ inch. I'll type that. And then I'm going to select the object that I want to offset. And then notice this, I can move my cursor to the outside or the inside. And since we have drawn the outside of the gasket, we're going to want to offset to the inside. And there you go. That is the gasket drawing. My next step is I'm going to put it in the sheet layout as we usually do. And I'm going to use, since it's an irregular shape, I'm going to use the X lines, construction lines, horizontal, snap one here, escape out of that, go back to X line, and do vertical this time. So we go to vertical, vertical. Now I can put a diagonal line in, snapping from this corner to this corner. And now I can delete those construction lines, only needed them for a little bit. And let's put another diagonal line on my sheet layout. Now we can go ahead and move it. Snap midpoint to midpoint. Delete them. There we go. We have it in the sheet layout. So we're going to go ahead and update the text. And we'll call it the gasket. This figure number is going to be 4. Big 4. Scale is 1 inch equals 1 inch. We didn't scale it down because it did fit. Some objects, you know, we got to scale down. We would change the scale number. Update your date and your period. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to finish it off and put some of our dimensions on there. So first thing I'll do is put my center mark in, and I'll put the center mark in by giving a radius dimension to here. That radius of 0.15, we'll put my center mark in. So I'm going to go ahead and put a linear dimension on here to here. Drag that up. Let's put a radius dimension in here. And I'm going to show you how to put this typical in. So if I snap from here to here and put that ½ inch, I don't want that ½ inch down there, I want it up above. So I can stretch that up. And what I could do to put the TYP in, I'm going to double click on that text. I'm going to type everything back in. TYP. Okay. Alright, we'll continue the dimensioning here for the linears down here. Now this is going to be tight in here, but it will fit. You might have to move things around a little bit, but notice it will fit. Alright, down here though, I want you to try to get a gap down here a little bit further. So what I'll do is I'll just draw a line in here and then take this extension line and drag it back and then delete this line, because I want a little bit of a gap down there. I don't want that extension line to touch that object line. So let's continue with some more dimensioning. So I'll snap from here to here, do a linear dimension here, 1 inch. Let's do some radius dimensions, put the radius down here, and let's put a radius in here. Now I don't like how that turned out, so I'll move it around. And I did not put a radius in down here yet, so we have to do that. So we'll just go to fillet, change the radius to 0.5. Go ahead and put that in, And then since we're there, we'll go ahead and dimension it right now. The 1/2 inch radius down there. I need a 7-inch linear dimension from here to here. And we double check. I think we're good. So as I double check this, I see that this dimension's out of whack right here. I'm going to delete that dimension actually and put it in again. Not sure what happened. So I'll put that in, double click this, go to 0.5 TYP, and then delete that out. There we go, that's fixed up. Alright, so we got that all in. One last thing that I'm going to want you to do is put your area calculation in here. So we're going to go ahead and copy this text up, and I'm going to replace this with area equals, and I'll put my area calculation in. Okay, now you'll notice my area calculation, I'm not putting it in because that's for you guys to put in. I would give away the answer. So notice if it doesn't fit, you could take this text box and drag it out to make it fit, make it look nice down in this lower corner. And that is the gasket with dimensions, including the area calculation as a note. Thanks for watching.